What an exciting opportunity I have today to interview an artist, a creative thinker, and a book lover, Tim Gagnon. And he is the designer of the S.T.E.A.M Race to Space Reading Challenge patch that we are so proud of and love it. And I'm going to be putting it on a jacket so that I can be wearing it everywhere I go. And Tim, you're give us a little bit of your background. This is going to be for people coming to our website and sharing the story of the creation of a patch or a badge for different purposes, like race car drivers have them,
Mhm.
astronauts have them, the reading challenge has them. Kind of give us just a short 30-40 second story about patches.
Well, patches actually go to ancient England and coats of arms on shields, and the patch or the badge or whatever is just a piece of art that brings people together under one banner, one mission, one family, and they've evolved over those thousands of years to be squadron patches for Air Force squadrons and mission patches for astronauts. It's just something that if somebody is wearing an Apollo 11 patch and clearly they're not an astronaut, they can probably tell you an interesting story about working on Apollo 11 as a ground crewman or a trainer or somebody who helped build the spacecraft. And they wear that patch because they got to be a part of something bigger than themselves.
So, what drew you to this line of work of creating patches?
Well, when I was 16 years old, I wrote to my senator asking for him to arrange an invitation to the launch of an Apollo mission because they were ending. The program was ending, and I desperately wanted to see the Saturn V launch. Well, nobody in my family, including me, to be honest, expected anything more than, well, thank you for your interest, but, and darned if he didn't say yes. And he said, you're going to go to the launch of Apollo 17 as a guest of NASA. And so then I had to write back because I'm 16 years old. I can't rent a car. I can't rent a hotel room. As I said, can you invite my dad? And they did that. They understood. And my dad and I had an amazing 3-day trip in Florida. Growing up in Connecticut, I was far removed from the space program, and we enjoyed the VIP tours and all the rest of it. And luckily it launched. There was a last minute hiccup where the computers thought that the third stage was not pressurized and it was just a faulty sensor reading, it turned out. So they were able to do a workaround. And my father loved telling the story about me pacing up and down, waiting for this thing to get a go, and finally screaming at the rocket 3 miles away, "You have to go tonight. I'm going home tomorrow." And luckily it did go that night.
Listen to you. Well,
Yes,
I think this
yes.
is a fabulous story to really help students say, when you have a dream, act on it.
Right. Well,
You could have, go
the other
ahead.
part of that story is during those VIP briefings, they showed us a big slide of the mission patch. And of course, I thought it was gorgeous because, this is the mission I'm at. And it was done by Robert McCall, who's an amazing patch artist, muralist as well. I mean, he was more famous for murals and paintings than patches at that point. But I'm sitting in the audience looking at this patch and saying to myself, I could do that. 16-year-old filled with hubris and who doesn't even know what he doesn't know yet. And so the next year, the next spring, I go into the store. I forget was the original purpose, and I happen to see an analog magazine on the shelf. And the cover story for that issue was the artist who designed the first crew patch for Skylab. And he details everything, the whole process, start to finish. And I already had the desire Now I had the blueprints, so I start writing to astronauts. I want to design your mission patch. Well, I got kind of close in the summer of 73 when, during the second crew increment, a leak developed in their reaction control system. And during Skylab, there was always the ability of having a rescue because they had the rockets and the spacecraft in the flow, so they could prepare a rescue in a very relatively short amount of time. And so they began putting together a rescue mission in case it was necessary. And I wrote to the commander of that rescue mission, and I sent him a couple of sketches, and he thanked me for them and said that it looks like we won't be able to fly, but I appreciate your interest and everything else. Well, fast forward, this is 1973 now. Fast forward to 2017, and I meet him at Space Fest in Tucson, Arizona, where I was giving a talk. And I said, "Sir, you have no reason to remember this, but 44 years ago, I wrote to you and I sent you artwork for a Skylab rescue mission patch." And his wife spoke up and says, "I know exactly where those are. And darned if he didn't return my original sketches to me 44 years later, that he had kept. Who knew that he was a hoarder?" I mean, he had no reason to want to keep that, but he did. And I was very grateful that he did that. And most of the time, when I wrote to astronauts, of course, growing up in Connecticut, I'm far removed from the decision makers, and so by the time I learn news, it's way after the fact. So all my responses came back: "Thank you for your interest. We appreciate your support, but we've already chosen another artist." And so my dream, while it has been realized and many times over, only took 31 years.
Wow. What did you, how do you, what do you study? I mean, what kind of, did you study art? Did you study engineering? What's your education to prepare you for this kind of work?
Well, I have to admit that I am a college dropout who met a girl and fell in love when I was my freshman year of college. And I don't regret that. I do regret not finishing school, but we've been married for 47 years, so all that worked out pretty darn well. Um, but I am self-taught. I
Okay.
didn't take any formal training outside of high school art classes, and that's probably another reason why my dream took so long, is because I put obstacles in my own way. If I had gone to art school, if I had, done all the things that you're supposed to do, but when you're in your 20s and you're in a hurry and you have no patience, that's the way it is. So I try to use my story as an illustration of perseverance, because when you have a dream, you never give up on it, because the world may tell you no, but you never say no to yourself. But that being said, don't make it harder than it has to be. Go to school, get the education you need, study the things that you have to, and those will help you realize your dream.
Well, I can't think of a better way to close out this time together. That's a beautiful message. I love your transparency, your honesty, your integrity, your talent, your generosity. You are a prince among men for sure.
Thank you
And
very
we are
much.
so grateful that we had the introduction and the opportunity to spend time together working on our STEAM Race to Space Reading Challenge patch, and how beautiful it turned out. I will share with you, we gave appreciation plaques to our sponsors and partners, and this emblem was right in the middle of this beautiful crystal patch, and everybody just was like, wow, it just turned out beautiful. So I want to thank you so much. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing, or anything that you wish that I had asked?
Well, anytime you're doing something to promote education, give me a call, because I will be right there to ready to help out.
I appreciate that, Tim, so much, and wishing you a happy and healthy and joyous 2026.
We can only hope.
Thank you.